It's there!
So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only a day. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. And we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. Ask me how we got here, 'cause you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries, let's flow for now. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. I drag you out your mind, and there are days I hate you, but baby, you're still mine. And then we have the best times, no matter what we do. And even when we don't, there's nobody I'd rather choose. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. I'm on my last straw. I'm broken and I'm woken up. I'm done feeling your lies. I've had enough. I can't run your place in this faulty game. And all the words you speak mean nothing more to me. 'Cause let's start over.
The pearls were bound together through the storm and darkest weather. We search high, we search low, together everywhere we go. Justin's here and he's going live with the best fans by my side. We're a family, we hold strong, together we can right the wrong. We clutch them pearls, we shine like stars, searching wide, spreading love afar. Every stream, every heartfelt plea, we are one in this community.
Technical trouble here.
The pearls were bound together through the storm and darkest weather. We search high, we search low, together everywhere we go. Justin's here and he's going live with the best fans by my side. We're a family, we hold strong, together we can right the wrong. We clutch them pearls, we shine like stars, searching wide, spreading love afar. Every stream, every heartfelt plea, we are one in this community. daily grind, but we're not stopping. Pearls around the world just popping. With each view and every share, we send hope and show we care. We clutch them pearls, we shine like stars, searching wide, spreading love afar. Every stream, every heartfelt plea, we are one in this community. Daily grind, but we're not stopping. Pearls around the world just popping. With each view and every share, we send hope and show we care. We clutch them pearls, we shine like stars, searching wide, spreading love afar. Every stream, every heartfelt plea, we are one in this community. In the night or in the day, girls will light and leave a way. Just as hard and your support, together we will hold the fort. Daily grind, but we're not stopping. Pearls around the world just popping. With each view and every share, we send hope and show we care.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube, anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I appreciate you spending some time with moi. Today is January 17th, 2025. It is currently 6:14 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Hello, hello, hello. So good to see you all. Really do appreciate you. It's so good to see all of my pearls. I'm going to try to do 2 lives today. There has been some breaking news as of last night. In Heather's case, there was an arrest, and we're going to do a little bit on that. I'm trying daily. I'm trying. I'm trying a little bit. Thank you all. You all are so kind always. I really do appreciate you. We got a lot to talk about in this live. Uh, Justin's hottie in the polka dotty. How you doing? How you doing, Tar? You're funny. Um, so yeah, we got a lot to talk about in this live. Last night we learned a lot of stuff. Someone emailed Mr. Carter, who is the only one constantly on Sebastian's case. And sometimes it's not what they say, sometimes it's what they don't say as well. But, as we all knew, that law enforcement is not and cannot tell you what to say. That has been my biggest thing that I have constantly spoken about in this case, that why can't you talk about dates to Edgar? It never made sense to me. If you're 3.5 hours away most of the time, and we know where everyone else has been, but we don't know where you were specific days. Um, he also asked what made the most sense, and all you have to do is really think logically. Um, this is a child that did not care for the outdoors, didn't like to get dirty, uh, didn't like certain noises, didn't like to be barefoot. Nothing to suggest that he walked out on his own when there is cameras all over the neighborhood, except there is a 3 o'clock, around 3:10 a.m. with activity around the house. And then we have a mother and a stepfather who hasn't done an interview in over 6 months on any news platform, saying, don't speak about my truck. Yes, sensory problems with autism. Um, Dog released some video of yesterday, I believe it was, pertaining to KK and Sebastian being at the Texas Roadhouse that night. And as Sebastian's gets out, they play some music as you're walking in the door. It's outside, um, and he is holding his ears. How do you think a 15-year-old boy? Remember, he didn't like the sound of the back door, and there's nothing to suggest he walked out the front door. He didn't go out the side doors because he would have had to have a key. There's lights on both sides of the house, but the only activity that we are aware of is at around 3 a.m. And in my opinion, that was coming from the back door. I've said this a long time. How long, let's say Sebastian did walk out of the home, how long would it take before he would just have a full-blown meltdown? I don't think it would take very long. Being that he uh, was barefooted and didn't care for the outdoors. Adults that's been in the area of the nighttime has said it creeps them out to be, out and around that neighborhood at dark. And I've always said this. Imagine Sebastian walking to the door, and then he walks right by his shoes. He steps out onto the cold porch area, right? Your feet are instantly going to be cold or cool. Doesn't matter if it's 60 degrees outside, that pavement or cement is going to be cold or cool. And why would he make himself even more uncomfortable when he left? That doesn't make sense, right? I'm going to walk out barefoot, and I'm going to literally walk past my shoes, step out into the cold uh, uh, cement, step out onto the cold ground. Your bare feet are touching the ground. and continue walking. First of all, your feet are going to get torn up really, really quickly. No coat, exactly. No water, none of that. It doesn't make sense. And in that email, Detective Carter said, "What makes the most sense?" Well, it's certainly, in my opinion, not that he walked out. Um, to me, it's pretty obvious. For some, it's not. But for me, it is. And I do believe um, once it's all said and done, like I've always said, I do believe uh, we will be, the closest in seeing, whatever happened to Sebastian. But I need to think we have a new member, or she renewed for at least a few hours. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate you. Hope you are well, my dear. Thank you, love. Very, very sweet of you. Welcome back to the family, Lisa. My son is high functioning autistic. He would never go outside without shoes. My son has a routine that doesn't change. Justice for Sebastian. Absolutely. And, the saying goes, if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism, right? Because there is such a huge, vast, um, just array of differences, but there is also some commonalities in uh, in autism. Generally, don't it's a sensory thing, uh, and that can trigger them. Um, and it's just not likely. It's just not likely. Hi, Tony. Good to see you. Hope you are well. Um, that's right. They have a lot of the same traits, but they are still all individuals. Absolutely. Even if even if it was warmish, the cold could have still been darn cold. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, you know, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. Uh Patrick, 2020 Chevy Silverado LTZ 4x4 2020 Edgar Wright Ping Bing. Uh yeah, and this is the thing. I don't believe it's Edgar's truck. Um do I believe Edgar was in uh Hendersonville Sunday? Absolutely. Absolutely. Um but I I wonder if Edgar had someone driving in a different vehicle with him. Uh, I do wonder that. I think that there is a different vehicle. Feed, love y'all. Thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Thank you, Veronica. She just ate her bottle. She just zonked out like right before I went live. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate you. Uh, my functioning son has pretty much of the same issues as Sebastian, right? Um, no, I don't think it's a rental. I really don't. I think this is someone uh, probably in the Hendersonville area. Um, perhaps. But time will tell. I do believe authorities knows, um, and are have learned quite a bit over the last nearly year now. Um, so there's that. Um, and didn't take money which was on the nightstand. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, he didn't take anything, right? I mean, uh, you think of someone running away, right? And especially someone, um, generally with autism, there is routine is extraordinarily important. Routine is extremely important for children in general. Um, but, many people with autism have their rituals uh, that they do, and there's certain items that goes with them everywhere, or that they would never ever leave. KK, she goes that morning to the school. Again, backpack still at home, shoes still at home. And I think we should do a live on that again. All Silver was. I love Mr. and Mrs. Silver. They're great, great people. And they keep it all about the case. And I really appreciate anyone who that has been able to navigate, especially with this case, with um, a little bit of class, and they certainly have, because it's totally been toxic, to say the very least. Perfect Pun, aka Jenny Mount. Thank you so much, my dear, for a month. Really do appreciate you. Hope you are well. Thank you so much for your support. Really do appreciate you. Love your cool and calm vibe. Thank you so much, Jenny. Really do appreciate your support. There's Mini Panthers. Thank you so much, my dear. 3 months. Starting to be concerned for my grand monkey. I will be needing proof very soon. How you doing? She's right here. She I don't want to wake her. I'll wake her at the end. I'll wake her at the end. I promise. Just remind me. Or she might wake up before then. Holly S., thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Thanks for speaking for those who can't speak right now. Thank you, Holly. Really do appreciate the support. Really does help. And I love that little palm. I love that little palm. So cute. Thank you again, dear. Silver is a genuine guy. He really does. And him and Mrs. Silver really do care. They really, really do care. Um, so, but what was I going to say? I was talking about going to do a live on something. Um, I think we need to go back and do a live on Edgar and dissect it a little bit more, where Edgar states, because I think it's very important. I think it's very, very important, because Edgar says, hurry up and get home. Police are on their way. And I pointed that out a long time ago. Well, if you're on a three-way call, you already know that. You don't have to be told that police are on their way. And I really think there's something, I almost bet you that there is something to that. Um, and then Edgar says, I stayed on the phone pretty much the entire time. There is a reason, in my opinion, why there was not a regular 911 call. So we have that, and then we have them allegedly being on a three-way call, and then him saying that I he told me to hurry up, that police were on their way. Um, was she not on the phone the entire time? Was she doing something? Uh, called in and he clicked it over? Was Edgar not where he actually says he was at that time? I don't know. I don't know. But there, in my opinion, is something to it. So we'll look at that sometimes as well. Um, what do I have? Oops, sorry about that. Bear with me one second. There's a few things that I want to go over. Uh, well, let's just point this out real quick and get this done with. Guys, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Would greatly appreciate it. If we get to 1,000 thumbs up, you know what happens? We have a chicken party, and you don't want to miss the chicken party. Okay? Okay. All right. Watch this. Now, you're gonna first of all, like KK is not driving very well here, if you ask me. Uh, it makes me wonder if there was some drinking prior to that afternoon. Who knows? The neighbors not speaking speaks volumes. What's really going on in Hendersonville? Um, Now watch Sebastian right here. Yeah, watch Sebastian right here. He's going to put his hands over his ears. Now, is it loud? Um, one second. Let me slow this down a little bit. Well, let me slow it down even further. And let me get watch him. Well, damn it. How do I get that off of there? One second. How do I get the letters off of there? How do I get the letters off of there? Does anyone know? Sometimes it goes off. Hmm. Well, anyway, he's got his right here, right? Like this. He's got it like this. Maybe click and hold the right click. No. No. Sometimes it'll go off if let's see here. I don't know, but like if we let me see if I'll make it bigger like this. If you see him, he's got his hands right there. This to me in my opinion, just shows that he is absolutely not going to go out. Just that right there. Was she allowed to? No, I think it's the music. Actually, I think it's the music, in my opinion, because they usually play music. Oh, that's wonderful. Seth will be on Nancy Grace. Oh, he's going to be on Nancy Grace soon? Who, Seth or Edgar? I don't think Edgar's going to be on Nancy Grace. I just about guarantee it. I don't think Edgar is going to be on any uh, any more uh, news. I would just about uh, bet on it. Janet, thank you so much, my dear, for 2 months. How you doing, love? Thank you for your passion, dedication, and hard work. For Sebastian, I love your channel and feel so loved. So much love and peace from you. Love you and Remy. Thank you so much, Janet. We love you and adore you here. Really do appreciate you. Thank you for being here for myself and everyone that we speak about, Sebastian and all the missing. Really do appreciate you. Oh my God, I'm embarrassed. Why was I watching from the beginning? What are you talking about, Gilsey? I don't understand. When is does Seth and Tony? That's wonderful. Let's give it up. Let's give it up for Seth and Tony, as they are the only still today the only ones. Well, Seth particularly is the only one of the parents speaking on behalf of his child, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Where are you at, KK? Where are you at, Edgar? About Hendersonville case with a woman was indicted. Ray Whitley was mentioned. Oh, damn. Do I still have that? I wanted to show y'all this. I bet you I exited out last night on accident. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because I wanted to highlight this. Um, what was yesterday? The 17th. Let's see here. There we go. I found it. There we go. Okay, here we go. I want to show y'all this, because I know local law enforcement has been really criticized in with this case. And I personally feel like they're doing it. They're bringing it. We're also going to talk about why is Edgar and KK no longer speaking to law enforcement? What went south? What happened? What happened to him? I don't know. But something did. Hey, Laura. Hey, Shotsky. Orange, good to see ya. Heidi, Lakeside. Sadie, Sense of Soul, ladies. For Justice, Psychic Amelia. Hello, everyone. But I would just want to show you, family reunited with missing loved one thanks to Sumner County deputy. This is from January 13th, 2017. Nashville, Tennessee. A family has a chance to say goodbye to their dying loved one thanks to a Sumner County deputy who used his medical training to reassist with his what he thought was his DUI stop, but turned out to be a neurological issue. Nashville resident Gerald Joyce, 41, has been missing for days. His family in Virginia last heard of him on October 29th when the when the normally communicative wedding planner suddenly disappeared. Here is a photo of he moved to Nashville in June 2015 from New Orleans, Louisiana, according to his sister Karen. The family did not receive any calls, texts, or emails from him and became concerned. After a few days of no contact, Joyce's father visited his apartment, noticing that his son's car was missing and all the lights in the apartment were on, the television was blaring. Now, this is Tennessee. You'll see how it's going to connect. The family felt that was odd, but figured he was an adult and he had known to have traveled. After a few more days, the concerned family traveled to Nashville from their home in Cedar Bluff, Virginia, to once again check on Joyce. Again, they found the television blaring and the lights on. They went inside and found his phone, which Karen said he would never leave without. That's when the family filed a missing persons report. With no idea where their loved one was, the family started a website to help spread the word of the search. 11 days after he was heard from, the family received a notification from the Sumner County Sheriff's Department. Uh, Officers informed his family that he had been pulled over on November 1st for a for a suspected rather DUI, but the deputy was able to deduct that Joyce was actually suffering a medical issue and got him help. The deputy, Brandon Carter, has been with the Sumner County Sheriff's Department for 5 years. Prior to hanging a badge on his chest, the 30-year was an advanced EMT. He told News 2 that he spotted a car swerving all over the Highway 31 in Bethpage. Quote, I decided to make a traffic stop for suspicion of DUI, Mr. Carter said. Deputy Carter pulled over the driver, later identified as Joyce. He appeared disoriented and didn't know where he was. Quote, at the time, he looked confused, end quote, Carter said. The deputy said Joyce was headed in the wrong direction, an hour out of Nashville. He began a field DUI test, but when Joyce didn't exhibit signs of impairment, Deputy Carter medical training and advanced EMT came into play. I went to check his eyes a second time, he said. I saw his left pupil was significantly larger than the right one. Something neurological was going on. Stroke is what I was first thinking, uh, the deputy Carter said. He called an ambulance for Joyce, and Joyce was hospitalized. Once they were contacted by the Sumner County Sheriff's Department, Joyce family rushed to Nashville. His sister told News 2 that in October, Joyce had been diagnosed with a stage lung cancer and began clinical trials. When she found out that her brother was still alive and in the hospital, she was ecstatic and thankful to the sheriff's deputy who helped assist his condition. Quote, I am so excited to speak to them. This is wonderful. The officer recognized he was having a medical problem. She continued, quote, they told us he was sick so long from pneumonia, ended up from bacteria in his lungs, traveled to his brain. They did a brain biopsy and spinal taps and discharged him on the 12th of November. And then he went to Vanderbilt and spent 3 months. He is currently in hospice in Kingsport, Tennessee, in a nursing home. He has good days and bad days, not sure how long he has. He is gradually declining and getting worse, but he's still with us. They told News Channel 2 it's unbelievable how the deputy found him and stepped in to get him medical treatment, stating that's why he's still with his family at this time. Quote, we can't thank you enough for what you did that day. I believe that you don't do that. If you did not do that, he would not be here with us. Police get a bad rap, and when something like this happens, well, it is great, and he deserves the recognition. I'm so proud of you and very thankful. Isn't that a good story? That is a good story that Mr. Carter had there. Yeah. And I just want to show you that Detective Carter is the only one on this case. He's the only detective. And that just shows you that, he really looked at things and noticed something was wrong. I mean, he could have just said, "Hey, dude, you're drunk. You didn't pass this test. Throw your ass in jail." Didn't do that. Didn't do that. So it shows you that he he goes over everything with a fine tooth comb. And I believe he is absolutely doing this in the Sebastian Rogers case as well. And I do believe we are going to get answers, and hopefully we're going to get answers really soon. We pray, anyways. Um, it does show character. You're right. Too many shoes. Um, so that was in 2017 when he was on patrol. So I thought um, you guys would like to hear that. Um, you know, Edgar, he spoke a lot about um, Bobby and Carter. Remember that? Hold on 1 second. What's that? 1 second, y'all. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Um, I thought that was interesting, and I uh, I hope that gives you guys a little more hope that he's doing everything he can. Okay, let's continue. I want to play something. Which one should I do? Uh, let's. Um, I want to show something out on Nancy Grace's interview that she did with Edgar and KK, and then I want to go over the Deception Detective. Which one do y'all want to do first? Nancy Grace or Deception Detective? Uh, put a 1 for Nancy, put a 2 for Deception Detective. Daisy Love, thank you so much for your support, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Really snaps. Thank you, my dear. Good to see you. Hope you're well, Daisy Love. And Shatsky, thank you, my dear. Thank you for getting us closer to our goal. Really do appreciate you. Hey, Bets, how are you doing? Okay. All right. So we're going to do the Nancy Grace one first. There was something that, now that Edgar is relieved, right, of saying that he can no longer speak. He's a law enforcement has told him that he couldn't speak on certain instances. Uh, I'm going. Hold on a second. Okay. Credit goes to Nancy Grace. Thank you again, Shotsky. Really do appreciate your support. Just want to go over something here.
Correct. He's never run off before.
And could I confirm, where was his bio dad?
And I wasn't planning on speaking on this part, but it just shows you he's never run off before. You have elopers and you have kids that would never do that, right? Sebastian seemed to be the one that would never do that. Hey, R. Taylor, good to see you. Right. And the question is, why would he run now? If there was just the two of you in that house that evening, that weekend, he had a great weekend. Why then? But that's not what I'm here for. But
At the time he went missing.
I believe he was at work in Nashville.
Had there been any family argument or altercation prior to him going missing?
No, ma'am.
And Mr.
now, any family arguments or altercations? Now, weren't they on the cuff of divorce? I mean, there's been neighbors very close by that could hear you guys.
Prophet, when did you leave town?
Here we go.
Early February.
So you had been gone for days before he went missing. Is that correct?
Correct,
Weeks.
ma'am.
Had you visited home since you left?
You said from when I initially left.
Okay. Couple things there. This is where, and I'm glad we watched this first, because then we're going to do Deception Detective, because he's got a new one out, and I think it's probably best that we did it this way. You'll notice a few things there. Nancy asked, has it been a while since you've been home? And KK and Edgar at the same time say, she says weeks, and he says days, I think it is, or something. And then you can hear someone in the background, in my opinion, probably Cruella, clearing her phlegm from her Cruella throat. But right here.
Had you visited home since you left?
Now, the best way you can ask Edgar a question is a direct question, right? Not, don't ever ask two questions at the same time, one direct question at a time. Now, Edgar is going to pretend like he doesn't hear here, and what he's doing is buying time while his hamster wheel up there is spinning.
Days before he went missing. Is that correct?
Correct,
Weeks.
ma'am.
Had you visited home since you left?
Watch.
You said from when I initially left.
Did you notice that quick glance he gave to the person clearing their throat? And he asked the question. He says the question to buy time.
Home since you left?
You see those eyes? See, he's looking at someone right there. He's looking at the person who is Thank you so much, Gypsy, getting us to our goal. Thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ashley. Really do appreciate you. Thank you for the love. Thank you, my dears. And thank you, Hobo's Life. Much love, Justin, Remy, and Pearl family. Thank you, my dear. Really do appreciate y'all. Okay.
Hey, you said from when I initially left?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I came home February 26th, the morning I was told that he was missing.
From the time that you left for the job in Memphis to February 26th, from the time that you
26th, the morning I was told that he was missing.
The morning I was told he was missing. Now, that can mean two different things. I just want to say that. It's just interesting how he answers that, right? The morning I was told he was missing. Okay.
from the time that you left for the job in Memphis to February 26th,
Listen,
did you visit the home?
Yes, ma'am.
When?
I was home.
Okay. She says, from the time you left, from February, does she say February 6th? February till the morning Sebastian went missing, have you visited home? He says, yes. Now he's going to say law enforcement told me not to give exact dates. He has said this for nearly a year. In the when he was triggered and he went up on Elevated Truths, he said the same thing. Law enforcement has told me. I think he told that one chick up there on the panel.
To February 26th, did you visit the home?
Yes, ma'am.
When?
I was home. I can't give exact dates.
I was home. So in my opinion, he was getting ready to say something, in my opinion, probably something that was not truthful. And he instead said something that, again, is not truthful, which is, I can't give exact dates. Law enforcement has told me not to give exact dates. We know that is bogus, absolutely bogus. And like I've said, how can a man that says he was gone most of the month, who says he's not involved, can't give exact dates when he was in his own home? When a child, they are saying, walked out of the home on their own accord. Why and how would that ever be linked to you not giving exact dates? My ass. Exactly, Morgan.
Home.
Yes, ma'am.
When?
I was home. I can't give exact dates. Law enforcement has told me not to provide exact dates, but I had been home multiple times prior to February.
Right. So it's something about those exact dates, right? But he can tell us he was home multiple days prior to February. It's amazing that if anyone believes this, it's just amazing to me. I mean, I don't care where you sit on this case. That should be BS to everyone. You were home, but you can't give exact dates. It's your home, dude. If everything was fine, why can't you give exact dates? You weren't home most of the time.
And then I left early February and then didn't come back till February 26th, the morning he was missing.
So
Now, do you just see what he did there? You just see what he did there. Nancy just asked him between when you left in February to the morning Sebastian went missing. Nancy says, was you home in between? And he says, yes. And Nancy asked, can you give the dates? And he's like, yeah. Well, law enforcement has told me not to give exact dates. But he says, I can tell you that I was home many days prior to the 1st of February in January. And then he says, how does he say it? I can't give exact dates. Law enforcement has told me not to provide exact dates, but I had been home multiple times prior to February. And then I left early February and then didn't come back till February 26th, the morning I was told he was missing. So he won't tell you the exact dates, but he will tell you January he was home many days. But then he says, I left the 1st of February and didn't come home till that morning. He is literally pulling it out of his ass, if you ask me. I mean, there's just no other way around it. Dawson, thank you, my dear. Thank you so much. Good to see you, beautiful. Thank you for your support. Hope you are well, my friend. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you, Dawson. Thank you, my dear. So Nancy's like, what?
so you were not home from the time you left early February till Feb 26. Is that right?
Correct.
Then if that's so true, Edgar, if that's so true, tell us about Sunday afternoon. Because you say you've been told that you can't provide that either. If that's so true, then tell us where you were Sunday evening. Show that 360. Monday, show that timestamp. Show that 360. Take that lie detector test. In fact, Seth is getting ready. And Tony, if you're still here, I would ask for you guys to challenge Edgar and KK on Nancy Grace to all do a lie detector test together. Challenge them that. Because it's not going to look good, is it? Doesn't look so good, does it? Because this is someone who has skirted around a lie detector test since literally the first interview. since the first interview. I bet you people have tried to get Edgar on some national news stations since Elevated Truth. And guess what? I bet you they went out in one ear and out the other. He didn't come back to Hendersonville until 1 a.m. That's not morning CP. You're leaking like a waterbed. Seth is getting ready to go on Nancy Grace. He's continually looking. He's continually doing any big interview that he can because he's innocent. He has nothing to hide. He's looking for where his son is. In fact, I would I'll tell you, I'll think about that.
Where were you living in Memphis?
I have an RV trailer that I stay in at an RV park.
RV park. Okay. Following back up on that morning, you search the home, Miss Proudfoot. Then you get in your vehicle and you start searching. Did Sebastian know how to drive?
No, ma'am.
Was your car in the same location when you woke up that morning as it was the night before?
Yes, ma'am.
Has your car been searched by police?
Multiple times. Yes, ma'am.
Have scent dogs looked at your car?
Yes, ma'am.
So your car's in the same place. You get in the car, you start looking in the neighborhood for him. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you call Mr. Proudfoot, right?
I believe I was already on the phone with him at that point.
Okay. Question. Who called 911?
Hold on.
I believe I was already on the
So your car's in the same place. You get in the car, you start looking in the neighborhood for him. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you call Mr. Proudfoot, right?
I believe I was already on the phone with him at that point.
So she was already on the phone with him before she leaves. She's already on the phone with him before she leaves. And that's at what time? Think about that. That too, Sam. That too. Who called Melissa since she was helping search at 6:30 a.m. Yeah, 6:03 a.m. So she wakes up at 6 o'clock. She goes in. Sebastian's not there. She looks in the bedroom, the bathroom. She goes to the kitchen because sometimes he's making breakfast, which she walks right past. And she's looking out the windows and she immediately calls Edgar. Now think about that. Before she even gets in the car. Now, what was she wearing that day? Well, she wasn't wearing pajamas. She wasn't wearing pajamas. KK, was your camera on? Was your dash camera on? I kind of feel like it wasn't. I kind of feel like it wasn't. And the reason I feel like it wasn't because I think they had some talking to do, or they could have done it before she left. I don't know. But I don't feel like it was. I feel like that might have been unplugged. Just my opinion.
Okay. Question: who called 911?
I did.
You did.
Now remember, Nancy knows a lot of these answers.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
time?
Without looking at a call log, I can't give you the exact time, but on or about 6:20.
And had you guys been talking on the phone before 6 a.m. or did you initially call Mr. Prophet at the time you realized Sebastian was gone?
I called him when I realized Sebastian was gone.
Have you guys been out?
So she says she did not talk to him until she realized Sebastian was gone. So there should not be any phone calls until just before midnight until around 6:03 in the morning. He's bad. Good to see you, honey. Shouldn't be any calls, right?
looking for Sebastian?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We were given information that you guys have left the home. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
I'm going back to work.
Okay. So he's going back to work like he always went back to work, right? Okay. Hold on. Yes. I heard about that. I see you. Just a little for those of you that remember Audrey Cunningham, let me just show you this real quick. He is going to prison for the rest of his life. The rest of his life. Where he belongs. You freaking creep. I am so glad you took a life. You don't deserve anything. Ugh. What a creep. What a cretin. It's terrible. Poor little girl. He had a plea that the rest of his life without the possibility of parole. So there's that. Okay. So he says he's going back to work. Well, he went a lot of times at home on the weekend and he went back to work. It's not Google, but I'm sure that they have their Apple version of it. Now, most human beings, you could not pry them away from their home if their child went missing from their home. In my opinion, this was because they were more comfortable down there. They felt like they weren't being as watched as heavily down there. They, in my opinion, felt like they weren't being listened to as much down there. Whether that be, perhaps, if police were listening in the home, or whatever. But that's my opinion on that.
You're going back to work. What about you, Miss Proudfoot?
And I'm not going back to work. Not yet, at least.
Did you leave the home also, Miss Proudfoot?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
To accompany my husband going back to work, and then I'm coming back.
Okay. When will you be back? Do you know yet?
No, not yet.
Are you concerned about being away while the search?
Justin, how can they be on a three-way with police? In an interview, KK says she looked at the school. She drove all around, and CP cough, and she says he was on a three-way. I don't understand what you mean, Sharon. Like, while she was driving, they was supposedly on the non 911 call together. So there's something very funny about that non 911 call. Yeah, well, he wasn't as this. I mean, this is, you're exactly right. The real Me Too. You see how aggressive he is with some women, and how he behaves. I'm brash, but I'm respectful, right? And then he talks, more pompous and arrogant. But here he's almost a church mouse. And I really believe that this is my opinion, that narcissists will bully who they think that they can bully over, and take control of who they think that they can take control over.
Is ongoing.
Absolutely, I am.
Then why are you going?
Because my son could be anywhere, and we're looking everywhere and anywhere.
That is a cheap excuse. That's a cheap excuse. My son could be anywhere. Okay. But you're the one, KK. Remember that. I don't know why he walked out that door without shoes. I mean, do you think, like, what do you mean? I mean, you're in 3.5 hours and away in Mississippi at a camp site. What does that even mean? Is it just filler? I think so.
I've got a question for you.
Yes,
I want
ma'am.
to find out about Mr. Proudfoot hitting Sebastian with a belt. What happened?
That was actually several years ago, and it
To
was
Mr. Proudfoot.
one-
To Mr. Proudfoot. To Mr. Proudfoot.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Proudfoot, what happened?
Thank you, Lydia.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you were asking Katie.
I've got a question for you.
Yes,
I want
ma'am.
to find out
To
about
Mr. Proudfoot.
Mr.
To
Proudfoot
Mr. Proudfoot. to
hitting
Mr. Proudfoot.
Sebastian with a belt. What happened?
That was actually several years ago, and it
To
was
Mr. Proudfoot.
one-
To Mr. Proudfoot. To Mr. Proudfoot.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Proudfoot, what happened?
Oh, okay.
Look at he is ready to shat himself here. He is mad pervy, ready to shat. He probably, I guarantee you, he has skid marks after that one. And you hear Cruella coughing again. Because, yeah.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking Katie. Sebastian had gotten in trouble. He got caught lying, and I had asked him. I said, "Hey, you got to have a punishment for this." He says, "Yes, sir." And I said, "Okay." So I gave him a swat with a belt on.
Boy, someone that says, yes, sir. Just a really good kid, right? A really, really good kid. And he wants to make it seem like it was years ago in this interview, because it doesn't really fare well that, allegedly you whipped a child just, weeks before he went missing. And then there's this investigation that happened the next day. I don't believe it.
On his buttocks, on the outside of his clothes, one swat.
Look how ready he is.
What did he lie about?
I honestly, I don't remember at the time, but it was probably something dealing with school, because that's majority where his issues lie.
Well, we all have issues. And speaking of lie, you just said literally a few days before that you completely remember when it happened, where it happened. Thank you, Lydia. Really do appreciate you. Oops, wrong one. Thank you so much, my dear. And thank you, Sharon. And thank you, Hobo. Really do appreciate you. Yes, sir, hit me with the belt for my punishment. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. In my opinion, I think Seth should press that a little bit, because can't do that without Seth's permission. You got to have both parents' permission for that.
Did he have other issues at school?
Somebody.
Well, like, get a fucking cough drop, Cruella. That's all you hear in this interview. Good God, you hear her constantly. Get a cough drop, get some water, have some tea. Jesus.
Behavioral stuff,
Sorry.
but nothing too crazy.
I just literally just like spoke what was in my mind.
Kind of behavioral stuff.
He has a hard time. He's like awkwardly socially, like blending in with students. So it's a little. He's trying to figure out how to do it.
Ooh, Emmy, who is this? Ooh. KK. Who's this? And I think that's a man. Who do we got here? Emmy Joe. Laurie and hubby. So Laurie, she's married. And that's the Volkswagen. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Huh. When was this taken, I wonder? Does she have an earpiece in her ear? I have no idea. Can't really tell. She's got some like 90s glasses on. I was noticing the Volkswagen lights today. What model is that? This that is the hold on. It's I'll tell you in just 1 second. It's the Atlas or the Tegan or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's the Atlas. Let me see here. Yeah, it's the Atlas. I'm pretty sure. Saying that right? Oh, hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm pretty sure. Tiguan is how you pronounce it. Huh. I mean, I don't feel. I mean, they're best friends from what I understand, but I feel like she doesn't know as much as maybe family does. You know what I mean? Because I think that I don't know. In my opinion, I think if Edgar was not, he says it's an Atlas. Gotcha. Thank you. Always late. Thank you. Tugs on heartstrings. I think they are. I really do. I've heard that. I've heard that before. Oh, Dawson, thank you so much for becoming a member. Really do appreciate you, my dear. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Dawson, to the family. Really do appreciate you, my dear. Oh my goodness, Dawson, thank you for gifting 5 pearl necklaces. You are so generous to me. Thank you, my dear. Really do appreciate you. 1 second. Sorry, it's getting a call. Thank you so much. If you received that pearl necklace, make sure you thank our girl Dawson for gifting 5 pearl necklaces. Very, very kind of you. Because you've been promoted.
You have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees. Thank you.
Thank you again, Dawson, for gifting one of 5 pearl necklaces and becoming a member. If you received one of those, make sure you thank our girl Dawson. Very kind and generous of you, my dear. Many blessings to you. Mandy, thank you so very much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Thank you for your support. I thought her friend in the Navy liked girls. Um, let me tell you something. That friend in the Navy who likes girls is in this interview, in my opinion, based upon things that I knew, is sitting right next to Edgar. I don't think she was well, I think she sometimes might be a lesbian, but I don't think she's a lesbian. I think she's married to Edgar. I think that was a very a cheap shot for Edgar. You know, a lot of times whenever these serial matrimonious serial cheaters uh are cheating, they try to make you seem like you're the crazy one, right? What? She's a lesbian. You're crazy, kind of thing. Whatever, Edgar. Whatever. In my opinion, I believe they're uh both let's say not very faithful individuals, in my opinion.
But respecting people's space, he gets a little too close. And then kids don't really accept that too much. So it kind of causes an issue. But he'll not stop and he continues
This
on.
pisses me off right here.
So
Oh
then
my
it
god.
causes an issue. And instead of being honest about it, he'll lie like, no, I didn't. Okay, Sebastian.
I cannot imagine. I really cannot imagine the absolute hell, in my opinion, that went on in that house. Because Edgar, you know it, KK, you know it, that there was constant screaming. Constant screaming. I just can't imagine that he. Ooh, what's that? Trishy, where's that from? Who's that from? Was that at the house? Let me know and I'll show it.
We're lying about doing
Was
what?
that the first time? Was that the first time you had ever hit him with a belt?
Yes, ma'am.
Does anyone believe that that was the first time? Knowing what Nina has said about what he has allegedly done to his stepchildren, knowing allegedly, or not knowing, but the 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 talk about his ex-wife. You know what I'm talking about, Edgar. You know what I'm talking about. I could say more. What did you think was going to happen that night, Edgar? What did you think was going to happen that night when you allegedly decked her? Hmm? He's told this to a few people in his past. You know, Edgar, standing in the kitchen. Remember that? Thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? She hit something just the right way, allegedly, right? I could say more. Mhm. So I don't think, in my opinion, uh, that these people get better. I don't think they get better. I think they usually only get worse as time goes on. Oh, is Lauren in here? That's interesting. It goes with the other Emmy pick. Look at this. This is a white truck. I wonder if that's... It could be the neighbors, though. I think that's the neighbors, isn't it? And then look at this. I think that might be the neighbors. Yeah, there is a... Okay, I think I've seen this picture. There is a third person there. Standing behind him. Can you see that? Holly, I think that they, in my opinion, they probably tried, and I think probably that's when they might have been shut down. They shut down. Check the rims. This is a GMC Denali. What's wrong with EMF? Is EMF okay? Are the rims not? I don't know when this was. It's Lauren from Facebook. She's amazing. Said was leaving. That's interesting. I want to finish this little part and then we're going to move on with the show. Bear with me as I find it. I can't wait for Seth to go back on
The one and only time, actually.
When was this?
Whatever, Edgar.
Years ago, ma'am.
No.
Any idea how many? 3, 10, 1?
It probably at least 3 years ago.
I don't understand how that turned into a CPS or Child Protective Services complaint. How were they alerted that you hit him with a belt?
That did not turn into a CPS service call.
There were other CPS reports, right? Were they regarding your other child?
There is one in regards to my daughter that I know of out in New Mexico with my ex-wife and myself.
What happened?
At the time,
What's wrong with
My
EMF?
ex-wife had fled to New Mexico with my daughter. We are going through a custody and a divorce case at that time. And at the time, when I call and try to check in on my daughter, I could never reach my ex-wife at that time. So a welfare check was requested. Law enforcement told me to call CPS if I had concerns. So I called CPS. Law enforcement did make a welfare call, and that was it.
Then how does that turn into a CPS complaint against you?
I have no idea, ma'am. There's a lot of misinformation out there.
Watch Nancy. Watch Nancy right there. She's not buying the Kool-Aid. How does that turn out to be a case against you? I have no idea, ma'am. Notice how he wouldn't answer the other day on Elevated Truth if there was 5 reports in 18 months. Thank you, Amazingly True 62. Thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Very kind of you, my love. Thank you so much for your support. Really do appreciate you, Amazingly True. Good to see you, my dear. And there we got Manny. Yeah, thank you, my dear. Thank you for your super chat and being a member as well. Thank you, my dear. EMF, honey, I hope you are praying for you. Oh. Guys, I need to, oh God, what did I do here? I need to tell y'all something, by the way. Crime Time Buzz. We all know Crime Time Buzz. Her mother passed away today. So please keep her in your prayers as well. If you don't pray, send some good vibes her way. I spoke to her a little bit ago, and she has been taking care of her mom, who has been under, I believe, hospice care for the last little while. So please keep our friend Crime Time Buzz in your prayers, in your thoughts for her family and all that. If you don't mind, I'd appreciate it. Crafty Girl, welcome to the family. Thank you so much. You're now a pearl. Oh my God. Your dog looks like a teddy bear. It's so cute. Crafty, that's so cute. What kind of dog? It's like it's kind of marked like a Yorkie, but it kind of looks like kind of an Airedale too at the same time. Thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Welcome to the family. Y'all, please welcome Crafty Girl to the family. Very kind of you, my dear. Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, darling. Just in my opinion, Nancy knew the answers to almost every single one of those questions before she asked them. CPS reports, his whereabouts, cameras, etc. I think she knew a lot. Yeah. I don't know about CPS reports per se, but I think she's a former prosecutor, and she goes in. Hey DC, good to see you, honey. I think she goes in with her notes and goes in, with her war paint, and it's good to know some of the answers, just like police do, right? A lot of times they'll know the answers, but they'll ask you the question because they want to know if you're being honest to the questions they know, and the other questions that they don't, they're probably not going to believe you to the questions they don't know. So thank you so much, Heidi, for 2 months. Really do appreciate it. Really love being a part of this community. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much. You got the best people around, I promise you. Thank you, Ginger, as well. Really do appreciate you. Thank you, Point Lover. Thank you so much for your very first month. Really do appreciate it. Pointer Lover. I see why your name is Pointer Lover. You got pointers. That's amazing. Thank you so much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Yeah, gorgeous pup. Look, yeah, look. Hold on. I need to screenshot that face right there. That's a good one to use for later. There we go. That's a good one to use for later. Okay. I just want to finish this little part and we're going to be done
There
with
right
this.
now in regards to my New Mexico case that actually has no relevance to the Sebastian case.
Then was there even a CPS complaint against you in New Mexico?
Not that I am aware of. And my attorney and myself are well educated on my case, and there's nothing that we know of.
Was there a TRO taken out against you regarding
Yes,
your daughter?
ma'am. Not a TRO, but a TPO.
A temporary protective order. Why was that taken out?
So in regards to that case, my ex-wife had a TPO put against her in Tennessee at the time.
Was it because perhaps someone maybe threatened to run over her in front of her children? Could that be it? Would that be it? He's not pervy. Relevance. What?
When we went to court, that got dissolved. I was ordered to hand my daughter back over to my ex-wife at the time. She gets in a truck. She fleds to New Mexico. 2 days later, she files one in retaliation.
Is it still in place?
No, ma'am. That was dropped within, I think, 2 weeks of it being put in place.
I've got a question about the
Dissolved.
belt incident. You're telling me that was the only time that you ever hit Sebastian with a belt.
Listen to
Yes,
the
ma'am.
soundtrack to this.
And you're also telling me that did not make it to CPS?
No, ma'am. That did not.
Well, you I mean, listen to this. Listen to this, y'all. He said on Smiley's channel that after that happened, Sebastian went to school and told, and he was sitting at the dinner table. Mind you, he's not very happy because he's still being punished. And that's when the CPS lady came. I live for that dang buzzer. Y'all are funny.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Regarding Faith's furniture.
Yes,
a few
ma'am.
days after Sebastian goes missing, did you replace furniture in Faith's room?
No, ma'am. I have not replaced any furniture in my daughter's room.
Exactly, Mohawk.
Is there any new furniture in the home?
Yes, ma'am. There's a bed that was given to me, and it's currently in my garage.
Out of everything that he talks about here, he kind of does that a little sarcastically, which usually they look like they see a ghost. Does that trigger him? Or what? I don't know why. I still don't understand why. That after a child goes missing, there's this furniture being rearranged in the home. I don't understand it at all. I just want to, this is like 4 minutes that I'm going to play, and then we're going to get on to something else. I promise. Pinky promise.
Moment when I put Sebastian's father, Seth, on the hot seat on national TV and asked him, would he be willing to take a polygraph? He said yes. He did take a polygraph. Straight back out to Seth Rogers. Joining us is Sebastian's father. And now joining us is a renowned polygrapher, Kendall Schule, former head of the entire FBI polygraph program in D.C., former special agent with the FBI in D.C. He is at Kendall Investigations. Also joining us, Tony Mathis, who is helping Seth Rogers as he walks this very, very rocky path. First of all, let me just get this out of the way. This is a yes, no, Kendall Schule. Did Seth Rogers pass his polygraph?
Yes, he did.
Okay, Seth Rogers, tell me about going and taking the polygraph. We want to hear every single word because I've got a stack of nasty online posts about you failing, about you not going, blah, blah, blah. A lot of trolls chiming
See, Nancy's not even immune from the trolls.
in. Let's get to the truth of that polygraph. Seth, what happened?
I showed up early for the polygraph. Mr. Kendall contacted me and told me that he'd be there well before the time that
Exactly,
he
Tricia.
had stated. So I showed up, and
The non-professionals try to discredit the professionals. It's the irony is just that shows you what arrogance and lack of education does.
sat in the chair and let him attach those things to me and took the polygraph.
Have you ever had a polygraph before?
No, ma'am.
And what kind of questions did the polygrapher Kendall Schule ask you?
If I had ever wanted to harm anybody, if I ever wanted to hurt my son, if I had ever hurt my son, if I'd ever had anything to do with his disappearance.
Question. You said they hooked you up. What do you mean by that, Seth Rogers?
They put things on my hands. They wrapped cords around me. They had a blood pressure cuff on me to measure my blood pressure, measure my heart rate, my breathing rate, things like that.
How long did it take?
It took a minute.
It took 60 seconds. Could you be precise or more precise? How long do you think it took?
We were there for 3 hours, 4 hours.
That's about right. It's not easy. Okay, sit tight, Seth. And again, thank you for being with us. Out to Kendall Schule, as I told you, former head of the entire FBI polygraph program in D.C. Kendall, thank you. When we put out the word that Seth...
The entire polygraph unit in DC, head of the entire polygraph unit in DC, right? So there's that, just an FYI.
Rogers would take a polygraph. We contacted you because of your reputation. You quickly agreed, and I thank you for that. Again, this was not free. He was paid to do the polygraph. He owes nothing to anybody and therefore was not swayed one way or the other. He had never met Seth Rogers before in his life. Mr. Schule, I've looked very carefully at your polygraph report right here. Number one, you start off by saying it was conducted using a comparison question format that meets U.S. government standards. What is a comparison question format? What is that?
It's a format that's well accepted by the polygraph community, particularly the American Polygraph Association. There are certain formats that we can use that are more acceptable, that we know are more reliable, and this was one of those. Certainly, a test format that I would want to use to make sure we're doing everything right to get the correct results. And this is again a format of polygraph that is widely accepted as a standard in the FBI world and in the polygraph world in general.
Okay, there's that.
Has been
Now, while Edgar is over here reading this, how to pass a polygraph. They have it on ebooks, Edgar. You're welcome. You're the one who said it's a cheat proof or what is it? An easy test to pass or something like that. So you're welcome. All right, now we're going to get to Deception Detective, but just want to show you who Mr. Schul is. Open book cheat test. That's what he said. Yeah. He has a website, Kindle Investigates. He's a private investigator, polygraph investigator, litigation support, security guards, FBI Agent Association, the Society of Former Special Agents of FBI, Tennessee Private Investigators Association, Tennessee Polygraph Association. And he is all around here. He's got a blog and all of that. He's is the head of the Polygrapher Examination, Interview, and Interrogation, FBI Field Office, Washington, D.C. Conducted investigations in areas of FBI jurisdiction to include over 10 years of primary undercover investigation focused on political corruption, property crime, narcotics, and organized crimes. Specific areas of investigation include interview and interrogation, narcotic and organized crime, undercover and special operations, foreign counterintelligence investigation, applicant and background investigation, personal security and surveillance. Conducted polygraph examinations in the area of the FBI jurisdiction to include white-collar crime, political, public corruption, fraud, offenses, homicide, counterintelligence, and espionage. He has been a supervisor in the head of the polygrapher unit with over 25 employees. Chief and program examiner, managed over 80 employees, played a significant role in the investigation and prosecution of several major causes, both nationally and internationally. So, served as a consulate to foreign government polygraph programs and brief members of the U.S. Senate Governmental Affairs Committee staff, provided expert witness testimony to U.S. district court cases, conducted and published research on polygraph techniques. So he's got the credentials. I see why Edgar did not want to do it now. And Elizabeth, thank you. Good to see you, Anne. Thank you so much, my friend. Hope you are well. And thank you so much, Anne Elizabeth, for 5 months. I really enjoy your channel so much. Thank you, my dear. Very kind of you, and thank you for being a member as well. All right. Now, getting on with it, I want to show you how to spot a hoax. New video out from the big DD, Deception Detective. Very interesting. Link is provided in the description for you guys in replay and will be provided in the chat as well. Thank you guys. Last time I was live, Deception Detective went live. Y'all went over there, showed your support. A lot of you guys became members over there. Thank you for that. My pearls never fail.
Every right to question people and make up our own minds. If you're going to pull off a hoax, it means you think you're smarter than the general public. And if you're going to cover up a crime, it means you think you're smarter than the police. In this video, let's watch part of Chris Proudfoot's last interview on the Elevated Truth podcast, and I'll show you some reasons why I think he belongs in our pantheon of hoaxers alongside Don Wells, John Ramsey, Jerry McCann, and Stephen Stearns.
To be fair, they're saying green hoodies are
Wow, what a group.
suspect, Venezuela gangs are suspects. Now we got a local YouTuber slash pastor that's a suspect. So they're just swinging out the suspect.
Well, I mean, if we're going to go that route, then everybody in this world's a suspect, technically, because we don't have any answers. Like I said, God, we wished we did. We want nothing more than Sebastian to come home. But once again, we have nothing. There is nothing.
Now, Chris, you made a statement once. And
Why is he always so sure that there isn't answers? Why is he so sure of that always? We have no answers. We have no answers. Well, how about have you spoke lately, Edgar, KK, to, I don't know, Bobby and Carter? Have you? Bet you haven't. And he's going to tell you right up here, in my opinion.
and I may be misquoting it, but you said the best thing about Sebastian, I don't think you said the best thing, but you said something about Sebastian disappearing. He left no clues. What did you mean by that?
He absolutely said the best thing about it. He absolutely said the best thing about it. Hey, Ashley, I'll try to pull that. Oh, really, Bam Bam? That's interesting. I'm going to try to find that 1 second while this is plays.
No, I didn't say the best thing about Sebastian disappearing.
Okay.
God, I'm so sorry. That's a commercial. I don't have it on my commercial list channel. 1 second.
Responsible for her
They, to themselves, when we had the...
1 second.
But once again, we have nothing. There is nothing.
Now, Chris, you made a statement once, and I may be misquoting it, but you said the best thing about Sebastian, I don't think you said the best thing, but you said something about Sebastian disappearing. He left no clues. What did you mean by that?
No, I didn't say the best thing about Sebastian
Yes, you
disappearing.
did.
Okay.
I'm going to show you.
I said, as it stands right now, this boy has vanished, and there's no clues.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said.
As I said in the intro, I think Chris Proudfoot is a hoaxer, but what does that really mean? A hoaxer is someone who's pushing a story they know to be false. And the first sign of a hoaxer is conclusiveness, our certainty about things they shouldn't actually know if their story were true. In this case, Chris Proudfoot wasn't even around when his stepson Sebastian disappeared in early 2024. So how can he say there's nothing out there to solve the mystery? Or that Sebastian left no clues? What about clues that just haven't been discovered yet? Are the clues that his wife Katie has guilty knowledge, which I've pointed out in my videos? And while we're on Katie, How can Chris rule Katie out as a suspect? She was there when Sebastian went missing. Shouldn't he at least have some curiosity about that? Same goes for the other theories that YouTubers have proposed, like this supposed person in a green hoodie, or a local pastor, or Venezuelan gangs. Do I think any of them kidnapped Sebastian? No, I think it's extremely unlikely. But I can't laugh it off like Chris did because I just don't know what happened. So the big question is, how is he able to?
This boy has vanished, and there's no clues.
Mhm.
That's what I said.
And another statement they take that you said and they twist it about is this is going to go down in history.
Yeah, that was a conversation that I had with law enforcement, and they to themselves, when we had this discussion, was like, there's nothing. And when I said, this would be a case that will be studied,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it will wind up being in a book. Because once again, we have nothing, no leads, no nothing on Sebastian's whereabouts, his disappearance, nothing.
Well,
Once
I think
again, if somebody's got something, please bring it. Bring forward. Let us know.
Chris, what about the trash trucks? Can you explain why both you and Seth believe that or at one point or another believed the footage to be of a trash truck?
Law enforcement showed us a video. Seth has said the same thing. I've said the same thing. We all saw the same video.
Seth Rogers is Sebastian's biological dad. Unlike Chris, he was at least in town when Sebastian went missing. And statistically, he's a prime suspect.
Okay.
But has Chris ever asked the police to investigate him?
All right. Here we go.
The best part about it is he has managed to do this without any evidence left behind whatsoever.
Analyzing any statement, it's very, very important.
The best part about it is he has managed to do this without any evidence left behind whatsoever.
Liar alert. Liar alert. Liar alert. There you go, Edgar. So let's just
We studied.
He able to.
This boy has vanished, and there's no clues.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said.
Sebastian left no clues. The knowledge, which I suspect. She was there when Sebastian went missing. Shouldn't he at least have some curiosity about that? Same goes for the other theories that YouTubers have proposed, like this supposed person in a green hoodie, or a local pastor, or Venezuelan gangs. Do I think any of them kidnapped Sebastian? No, I think it's extremely unlikely. But I can't laugh it off like Chris did because I just don't know what happened. So the big question is, how is he able to?
This boy has vanished, and there's no clues.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said.
He is so full of it. Yeah, this boy. It's an easy way to disconnect, distance yourself, disassociate.
And another statement they take that you said and they twist it about is
Nobody twisted that.
this is going to go down in history.
Yeah, that was a conversation that I had with law enforcement, and
no, that was a conversation that you had on the panel. That's a conversation you had on the panel.
They to themselves, when we had this discussion, was like, there's nothing. And when I said, this would be a case that will be studied,
mm-hmm.
Yes, it will wind up being in a book.
Yep. I honestly think I know who will play Edgar. I just have a feeling that who is going to play Edgar. I have a feeling. All we got to do is just put a little curls in the back, and there we go. Because Edgar, just because you say it doesn't make it true. Just because you say it doesn't make it true. Okay, Edgar? Edgarstein?
Because once again, we have nothing, no leads, no nothing on Sebastian's whereabouts, his disappearance, nothing.
You have no idea of what the investigation holds. They are so tight-lipped about this investigation. You have no idea. Especially if you've not been speaking to them lately. Notice how he doesn't speak so, lovingly about law enforcement anymore. Doesn't use the colorful, soft, poetic love language that he used to. Wonder why.
Well, you know, once again, if
Is it because they got something now, Edgar? Because Eric Craddock the other day said, we've got stuff.
if somebody's got something, please bring it. Bring it forward. Let us know.
It's so foolish.
Chris, what about the trash trucks? Can you explain why both you and Seth believe that or at one point or another believed the footage to be of a trash truck?
Law enforcement showed us a video. Seth has said the same thing. I've said the same thing. We all saw the same video.
Seth Rogers is.
And guess what? Seth does not believe it's a trash truck. And it's not a trash truck. It's a very uncomfortable spot for you, though, Edgar. I realize that.
Sebastian's biological dad. Unlike Chris, he was at least in town when Sebastian went missing. And statistically, he's a prime suspect. But has Chris ever asked the police to investigate him or even question his alibi? From what I've seen, he hasn't. And that's unusual. If you've seen my videos about Landon Bullard, Gannon Stouch's mom, you'll know that innocent parents of missing children point the finger at everyone. She accused her ex-husband, his new wife, you name it. But hoaxers don't do that. Either it just doesn't occur to them because they already know the truth, or they recognize how easily it could backfire if they start pointing the finger at friends and family. After all, if you're already getting away with a lie, why risk rocking the boat? So whether it's an oversight or just an abundance of caution, I think this explains why, for example, Stephen Stearns never blamed his girlfriend's roommates when her daughter went missing, and why the McCanns, the Ramseys, and the Proudfoots.
Okay, 1 second. Someone wants me, crap, not that. 1 second. Wants me to play. This is by S3 Speakeasy. S3 Speakeasy. S3. Here is the link to the channel. And here we go. I'll get back to that in just a second. Steven Stearns versus KK.
Yeah, all these things stack up, and by calling one.
Make sure you are subbed up to the interview room and Steve Johnson. He is a certified statement analyst. He offers classes. They are superb. I recommend them if you are into true crime. I think it's like $40 a month or something like that. Totally worth it.
One thing out,
Steve Johnson, Deception Detective, Peter Hyatt, Pat Brown are the best.
I'm not going to hang my hat on that, but when I have several that stack up, I call it the mountain of evidence. It's being built, and until it gets to a point where it just can't sustain itself and it kind of just implodes. It just falls. You can't stack any more on it, and it's based on human nature. It's based on how we've been acting and what we expect from a biological mother for many years. And now I know that everybody has different issues and things, and some people have said, well, Candace grew up in a different environment, so she might think a little bit different. Well, that's true. We all are different, but human nature dictates that. And that's why I say, okay, I'm just going to highlight this because I'm seeing this. But she might say something later on that clarifies that, and I'll take it off the table. It's gone. I'll erase it. She might say something later on that makes that even stronger, a stronger trait of denigration. And so now my highlight, my what I underlined before now becomes a highlight. It's definitely a red flag. And so that's what we're doing as we go along, and that's how we come to our conclusion at the end. We look at everything. Some things we take off the table. Some things are now in bold and highlighted, and they're even more important. So yeah, they all stack up.
Yeah.
I dropped her off. Everything looked fine when I drove away.
This is comparing the two.
It's the last time we saw her.
KK.
What were the conversations that y'all had in the car when you dropped her off?
Not much. She was asleep for most of the way. Told her have a good day at school when she got out. I love her. She said thanks. Love you too.
That's a good point they make here. Last words was both. I love you. Both was on the spectrum.
Told her have a good day at school when she got out. I love her. She said thanks. Love you too.
He said I love you, Mama, and he said I love you, puppies.
He said good night, Mom. I love you. Say good night to his puppies. It's time to go to bed, and he goes, okay. Good night, Mama. I love you. And then he said good night to his puppies, and he went to bed.
What was it?
And so where do you think she could possibly be? I mean, this isn't, as I was told, this isn't normal behavior.
This is not normal behavior. She's not the type that would just run off.
What are you thinking? My son doesn't run. He's not a runner. He's never run away before.
We don't know where she can be. And we're scared. We just want her home.
Are you, in a sense, blaming yourself?
It's hard not to.
Why?
I dropped her off early. I could have waited longer. She looked okay. She was walking towards the school when I saw her. It was like any other day, so I went on with my day.
I agree, Holly.
Everything was pretty normal. He was playing in his room.
It's hard not to blame myself.
What has the conversation been with Jen since?
She's been a lot stronger than me.
They're amazing, but they still haven't brought my baby back.
I will. She's been holding it together really well, but it just keeps coming in waves. Just the reality keeps hitting. We don't know where she is. We don't know if she's safe. We're just scared. We just want her home.
Have you,
no
literally
idea
put boots on the ground, went out?
Yeah, I even went out with the cops where I had dropped her off. And
if anyone deserves the electric chair, this man deserves the electric chair. And listen, I think Mom does deserve
look all up and down the road, all on communities, and There was nothing helpful. None of the cameras were pointing the street. Nothing.
That's
Like
what
she
you
told me
thought, you
24
dumbass.
was surprising. The church across the street had some cameras, and they mentioned seeing her waiting around in the parking lot for a while before moving on, and that was it. But it was grainy. It was grainy footage, and not much else.
Yeah, I really believe that they were making Edgar feel very comfortable, and this is what Stephen Stearns said too. We went out with the cop, and like they are just buttering you up to melt, so you feel comfortable. Like, oh, you're not a suspect. Everything's fine.
Like she walked west, east.
Not their first rodeo.
They said in the direction of the school. I'm not sure what that is.
I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
So, I mean, the $1 million question, why did he go? And the other $1 million question is how.
What about Savannah?
Good point.
Another $1 million question.
But leaves out the question, where is Sebastian? I do believe one day, hopefully soon, that we will be seeing the other side of this, like we see Stephen Stearns now.
Is how.
What about Savannah?
What was the language? Not language verbally, language, body language. When you dropped her off, did she seem happy? Was she like, I'm going to meet
She
my
was
friends?
happy. She got a happy weekend. She just turned 13. She had her 13th birthday party.
He did have a really good weekend, actually.
They all had parties. They all had a good weekend.
She was happy that we were all together here, and she's just very happy. She was a happy kid. She's very sweet. She's a very sweet girl. She brings a lot of joy to us, and we just not knowing.
So the unknown is killing you.
Yeah, it's like our whole world is upside down. Not feeling her presence here is.
Tell me,
Sorry.
tell me.
It's hard.
Herb
You
walk,
don't need to apologize. What do you want our viewers to know when they see this?
She's a sweetheart. She's a very sweet, kind girl.
Sweet, stubborn.
Just please be nice to her. Bring her home if you find her. Tell her that we love her. Wherever she is, I hope she's okay.
I mean, if someone were to come in contact with her and you gave me her diagnoses.
This bastard had this child sitting in a seat, slumped over in the front seat, then went to a parking garage, got her out of the car, threw her over his shoulder, and put her in the trunk. I hope he gets the freaking brakes beat off of him in jail.
Would it be easy to approach her without any like agitation or anything?
Yeah. She's a good kid. She's a good kid.
If you can sum up in one complete sentence, waking up, getting ready to drop her off at school, dropping her off at school, to now speaking to me after talking to the police about her being missing for over 24 hours right now. In one complete sentence, what would that be?
A living nightmare. It's a living nightmare. Day started off like any other. And I just want to wake up.
It was a normal
Just get
day.
hit with waves of the reality. Just it's setting in. soon as it got dark last night, we started falling apart because we knew it wasn't going to come to an end. And now we're going on 24 hours and still nothing. Conflicting reports here and there. People say they see this or that. None of it's conclusive and none of it's helpful. We just want our baby girl back.
Miss.
I honestly didn't notice anything that was like, oh my God, that's weird, you know? I mean, we had a really good day. You know, he wasn't in trouble at all. We went to bed on a good note. And I don't know if maybe he just wasn't saying something, but nothing. And I've gone over this so many times. I'm ill, but I didn't see or notice anything that was like red flag, you know?
Okay. He didn't have any meltdowns or anything like that seemed.
Yeah, the thud. That's not a red flag, is it? No. No red flag. Shouldn't be a red flag that you hear a thud and, you know, not go check on it, because it's not like he's doesn't have, you know, a pocket of water in his head. It's not like he's never had seizures. It's not like he has a chromosome deletion. It's not like he has autism. It's not, you know, a thud and didn't check.
Off.
No, he was actually really well behaved that day. He was even keel for the most part all day.
Again, that is S3 Speakeasy. I'm going to drop that link again. She's I think she's a new creator. He or she. I'm sorry, I don't know. Someone just sent that to me. Subscribe up to him. It's a good job. Very good job. I know, I thought about that too. Even keel. Was the fluid on his brain brought up? No. I think we learned that through Seth. I don't think she ever said anything about that. I don't think KK or Edgar ever said anything about that.
It's very unique. And I mean, we talk about it whenever they come and they talk to us or they call us on the phone. This is a case that literally has got all of these agencies stumped. Okay, and I'm
Don't flatter yourself.
saying this very openly, as far as, you know, playing devil's advocate. Let's say one of us was suspected of foul play. Let's say something, right?
Right.
There's no way that we would outdupe all these agencies. There's no way.
I agree. You know, I actually agree with Edgar right there. There's no way. There's no way. It takes time to build a case. This is 100,000% a criminal investigation. We know this now. This is a criminal investigation. And I can tell you one thing. I can definitely tell you one thing. Seth cares who those criminals or criminal is. All you hear from Edgar and KK is crickets, or law enforcement has nothing. Exactly. Exactly.
However, this 15-year-old boy has managed to outdupe everybody. Call him Houdini. He always wanted to be a ninja, and we kept goofing around. Well, he has officially done it, because,
you know, the thing that amazes me, I really think he thinks he's lightening this up by calling him Houdini or a ninja, and then he laughs about it. But a parent that is actually concerned doesn't find any humor in their child tricking anybody when their child is missing. There is no humor, there's no lightheartedness in it. They want their kid home. They were the ones that painted him in the very beginning. Oh, he's young in mind. He wouldn't know how to do this or do that, but he can also, you know, be a, chess player and outdo adults.
Poof. Nothing. And it's, the cops have told us this is a case that will go down as a researched study case where they're asking the questions and looking for answers and literally nothing. Everything they
And I feel like it's a low-key brag.
try to come up with, blank. Information that we still, even as of today, we had a meeting with law enforcement and we've asked them verbatim, like everything we've been saying, is there anything you want us to change? Is there anything new?
Where's the digital footprint then?
He
Well,
doesn't have to have a digital footprint. It could have been it could have been anybody on the road.
How do you think people kidnapped before electronics were around?
Before electronics were around, they didn't have CART teams that could come in and figure out what phones were used, what Wi-Fi's were in the area.
Right.
Now, mind you, it was said that there were only what? 2 exterior internet sources that came in and out of the area that night.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't it funny how one person said one of them was his?
Yeah, that would be a little weird, for sure.
Oh, it got quiet real quick on that one.
I answered you.
I don't think I understand what you're
Hold on, I need to rewind that.
Was his in and out of the area that night?
Hold on.
That there were only Wi-Fi's were in the area
were around.
Before electronics were around. They didn't have CART teams that could come in and figure out what phones were used, what Wi-Fi's were in the area.
Right.
Now, mind you, it was said that there were only what? 2 exterior internet sources that came in and out of the area that night.
2 exterior internet sources that came in and out of that area that night. Oh, this triggered Edgar. I mean, this was a meltdown for Edgar. To get him up on a panel after 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't it funny how one person said one of them was his?
Isn't it funny how said person said one of them was his? Let me tell you something. It's not at 1:30 whenever he showed up at that time. I'm telling you, it's not. I am telling you, it is not. They would not be looking for anything past 6 a.m. on the 26th. They would not be looking for anything past 6 a.m. because he had already gone missing. They're not going to ask you at 1:30 in the evening after they have been investigating for 7.5 hours already since a 911 call came in. We got 1,000. Thank you guys. Y'all are amazing. They don't ask you for that. Between 6 a.m. or 7 when they showed up and 1:30, there was a mountain of police, volunteers, neighbors, drones, helicopters, fire trucks, everything. So if people actually believe that they're going to ask Edgar when it specifically tells you the time, the date, the hour, the minute, and the second that it shakes hands, then, and if someone believes that, then you're not very smart. You're just not. I'm sorry. You're not very bright if you believe that. They're not going to ask you, why are you here at 1:30? It's, just like he said that he can't talk about certain dates. Well, he wants you to believe a certain thing. Law enforcement knows better. Edgar, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Yeah, that'd be a little weird, for sure.
Oh, it got quiet real quick on that one.
I answered you.
I don't think I understand what you're. I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're saying. That's why.
Nobody answered. Nobody really answered that question there.
I'm quiet. I'm sorry. I
And elevated truth is exactly right.
don't get it.
He's saying
was
on the supposedly on the night that Sebastian disappeared, they go through and they check like all the Wi-Fi in the area, and there was only 2 Wi-Fis that came in that area and left that area. Like 2 open networks, 2 traveling Wi-Fis came in and left.
Okay.
And apparently Chris claims one was his truck.
That night? That night?
They did the search for that night. So.
Why would Chris's truck be there?
Why would his truck be there? Guess. I mean, why would his truck be there? That's something he needs to explain. What kind of question? Wendy, thank you so very much, my dear, for gifting a pearl necklace. We really do appreciate you, my dear. You received that pearl necklace. Give our girl Wendy a big, big thank you. Really do appreciate you, Wendy. Tina, 1 second. Thank you, my dear. Never will I understand why KK didn't let Steph have custody of Sebastian. Was her anger towards Steph that bad? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Only she knows that, really. It's a good question. Starflower, was he upset because the ping match won from the night before? Was he upset because the ping matched the one the night before? It's supposed to be a new ping, if you will, and it's not really a ping, but and therefore, in my opinion, I don't believe it was Edgar's truck. I believe it was a sedan. In my opinion, most probably a General Motors, i.e., Chevrolet, GMC, Buick, Cadillac. Just my opinion, though. So I think it's something like that. But I don't know. We'll see. Because they had asked that it was a new handshake on the router. Well, his truck would not be a new handshake, if you will. Wouldn't be a new handshake. Because he didn't just get the truck, right? Thank you so much to the Lady for Justice for 2 months. Really do appreciate your subscription, my dear. All truth will be brought to light. Amen. I do believe it will be brought to light. And Edgar says they have nothing. Eric Craddock says they do. And I believe Eric Craddock. Thank you, dear. Thank you, Stacy. Justin, how many entrances into their neighborhood? There is, there's, would you guys say 2 or would you say 1? Because a lot of people say that there's, the one in the back there. There's really just one main entrance, but you might be able to do 2 possibility. But that vehicle at 2 a.m. went all the way down, turned around, don't know how long they was down there, turned around, and then came back. So
I mean,
I didn't. This is the first time hearing of this, so that's why I'm like, what?
Me too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't really comment on it because I don't know anything about it.
Well,
Well,
I
it could
can.
have been the 25th through the 26th. I don't know. I mean,
25th through 26th still means that allegedly he wasn't in town.
exactly. The 25th, which is, remember, Sunday evening, which law enforcement wants to know more footage after a few days of Sebastian missing. That's when they said, oh, we need something Sunday evening. That's another thing Edgar will not speak about. Right? So remember that. And after, obviously, midnight, Sunday goes into Monday morning, which would be the 26th.
And the
26th
he would have
been.
been.
Right.
Oh, right. The 26th he would have been. But if I'm not mistaken, I think the comment went something like, those dumb assholes didn't even know that it was my truck.
Oh, Edgar Steen. Why are you calling them dumb basses? It's not very nice. You used to paint them in just rosiness, riding around with them, and now you can't. everything's just crickets. Just crickets. Thank you for that, Stacy. Really do appreciate you as well. Terry, thank you, my dear. Really do appreciate your support. My heart hurts for sex. Praying for him and Sebastian. Me too. Me too. I hope I'm wrong. It's nothing I'd rather be wrong about. I hope Sebastian is okay out there. But if he's not, I really worry about him. I really worry about Seth. Because he literally moved across the country to be with his son. And he has no one in Tennessee. And he will probably not have any other kids the rest of his life. And so when we do get answers, and if they are not the answers that we're all hoping for, he's going to need a lot of, support around him. It's really sad. It's really sad. Because I do think that we know this is a criminal investigation. Someone's going to jail. In a criminal investigation, someone's going to jail.
Lazy, well, if you can't ask me what time, because I don't know.
That's
I don't
really
know what time.
that's really weird because so you're saying it's like a hot spot that came in and out. And that's really weird because you have to turn those on. They're not just on. You have to.
No, you do not have to turn those on. You do not have to turn those on. Your vehicle is always got its Bluetooth or the cellular device on. No, you don't. I don't ever turn mine on. I don't ever turn mine off. It's always on. Now, our vehicles are just software with wheels.
Turn them on.
No, you don't.
They're not just on willy nilly.
I'm just telling you what was said, right?
Yeah,
Like I can't stand by it. I just
it's really
know that
hard for me. It's really hard for me. I'm in tech. That's my job.
Well,
And it's really hard for me to believe that. And not that you're not telling the truth. I just don't know the source of that. It's hard for me to. Okay, so it's hard for me to believe that.
I don't know why it's hard for anyone to believe that when it triggered him to get up there after 6 months. And I know Elevated Truth is not lying about that. He's not going to lie about that.
Then it's hard for me to believe Chris. Yeah, not you, Truth.
Right.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
Why would Edgar say, oh yeah, within the 25th and 26th, 2 vehicles, and I had to tell the dumbasses that one was mine?
Well, I don't disagree with you, but it would make you ask the question, why would Chris say that?
Yeah,
Bingo.
it would. It absolutely would. Yes, you're right. Absolutely.
It was said privately, y'all. And it was said to more than one person on this panel. All right, guys. So I'm going to bring Chris up. So here we go.
All right.
What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Hey, Chris, what's up, man?
That's what I was
What's
thinking,
going on?
and
I want to know what's this talk that somebody on this panel is saying that I told you that my truck was in that neighborhood the night Sebastian went missing or the night before.
That's not what was said. What was said was you said that your truck's Wi-Fi was in the cart when the cart team did their thing from on the 25th or the 26th. And I also restated that it could have very well been when you came home after Sebastian went missing.
So that,
And again, I disagree here 100%. Again, they are not going to look after 6 a.m. because Sebastian is already missing at 6 a.m. The non-911 calls went out. Police are there shortly after. It tells you, I've shown you guys, we did a whole live on it, how it works. It shows you the date, the hour, the minute, the second, the device, all of that.
that would have had to been the 26th when I got to my house.
That's
around
what
4 o'clock in the
that's what
afternoon.
we said.
Keep telling yourself that, Edgar. History will judge that. Time will judge that.
That's what we said.
Chris. That's exactly what we said.
Yeah, I said it has to have been when he was coming home from the work site.
That's what
No.
was said.
For the, my truck wasn't in the area, the vicinity. The FBI knows this. So don't speak of my truck being in that vicinity, that area, until the 26th at 1 p.m. in the afternoon.
That's what we said.
Well, not the time frame, but
Not the time frame because we didn't know the time. But what we said was that they did it for the 25th and the 26th. So it's just as much likely that it was when he came in after Sebastian went missing.
Yeah, and that's why I was confused because I was like, "What?" And then that's why
I was like, what?
said it had to have been when he came home.
Well, see, the
Or,
problem
whatever.
is you get a bunch of people out here. You say one thing, you mean one thing, and this, that, and another, and then it runs wild like a fucking brush fire that goes crazy.
It's true.
And here we are. We're 10 months into this. We got no leads. We got nothing. But yet we got another team over here that's out here just throwing shade left and right and a bunch of crap.
No, Edgar, we're asking you questions that everyone else has answered except for you. Breath fire.
That's what we're talking about. We think it's very dangerous. People are being thrown under the bus and nobody seems to fucking care.
Thrown under the bus. I don't think asking a question is necessarily being thrown under the bus, is it? About, a missing child. And that's right, Ginger. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Does he have the part 2 to that? Or does she, outside, have the part 2 to that? That's very interesting. Not come home from Texas. Hi, inside. Are you in here? Okay, maybe this is. Is that the same one?
So I've always been the kind of person that doesn't ever want to talk to like family members of victim because it can like totally sway your opinion on what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And this case proves why that theory is the way you need to be, right? So there was an incident. There was an incident. Remember when Terry Lynn found those pants?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then do you remember when like Barbecue and I was in the box too, and Clue and Jay were on TikTok, and we were informed that those were Sebastian's pants, and that people think that Terry Lynn planted those pants, right?
Well, it's not that people think it.
They were told.
No, there were.
Listen, Terry Lynn didn't plant no damn pants. That's ridiculous. your ass will go to prison for that. Not a
Come at
chance.
me sideways, or you come on.
Not a chance. I don't know why anybody. I mean, I think they just say it to make it sound, just to disregard someone.
The Amber Alert remains active, and now nearly 10 months after Sebastian Rogers disappeared, those leading the search effort say no one is giving up.
It's not a cold case. It's an active and ongoing investigation.
Sumner County Sheriff
You should have said criminal investigation.
Eric Craddock has been on the case since Sebastian disappeared from his Hendersonville home back on February 26th. Since then, hundreds of tips have been investigated, and to date, there still have been no confirmed sightings. In that vacuum, rumors continue to run rampant online from less than credible sources.
Well, it's real easy to sit on social media and make those comments.
Sheriff Craddock says investigators deal with facts, seeking evidence and hard leads. There have been few official updates in recent months, but the sheriff says investigators meet weekly about the case.
I've been pretty transparent. There is some information that's just not releasable, right? And that's only because any information
Hey, Hindsight, do you have the part 2 to where Edgar
release could be prejudicial to the case?
Is on
and a successful resolution is my
Elevated
ultimate goal.
Truths?
There's not a day that doesn't go by that
I
I don't
Ken.
think about Sebastian.
EMA Director Ken Widener has headed up search efforts around Sebastian's home and beyond from the very beginning. Around Sebastian's home and has headed up.
Look at that map. Damn.
Search efforts around.
Now look at here. I just want to show you guys. Will it make it bigger? I don't know. Look at that map. He's not in that 5-mile radius or 10-mile radius, in my
Sebastian's home
opinion.
and beyond from the very beginning. And it is his team that stands ready to act on any credible lead that comes from the tip line.
We have K9 on standby. We have search teams on standby. We got drones ready to go, and we go.
The question of what happened to Sebastian very much still remains open. And to date, nothing has been ruled out, including the possibility of foul play. And on that note, District Attorney Ray Whitley tells me he gets updates on the case nearly every week, and he does stand ready to prosecute if it ever comes to that. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
I believe it'll come to that. Hopefully soon. I was just looking for something here. Bear with me.
I'll take you guys back. First off,
Listen to this.
we're familiar with some of these DCS reports that have been talked about over and over again. I think it's important for your audience to know that over the last 2 years, there's been 5 different DCS reports that were filed.
Over 18
Those
months.
those reports.
Yeah, I know Mr. E was like 5. I mean, it's hard to 5 and 18 months. If there is an arrest and it goes to trial, I'll be drawn out, sir, because I'm afraid. Well, I'll be right in the middle of it, so don't you worry, Lisa. I'll be. Hi, I'm Clutch Them Pearls, live on location. Pearl will be right here on my shoulder. That's why we got a circus, honey. So don't you worry. And I'll be right there for the perp walk, honey. What to tell you? What to tell you? Walk it. Bish. walking. Walking like a ducky. Okay. Thank you, Dawson. Because this is a criminal investigation, and whatever criminal or criminals, honey, whoever did this to Sebastian, I want to look those mother truckers in the eyes. I do. Don't hurt innocent children.
Started in 22.
So did you say 5, Tony?
Correct.
Okay.
Are these all in the Proudfoot home?
Correct.
Okay,
Now-
I don't think I've ever heard that
Okay.
number before.
So what I can tell you, obviously, we are not allowed to discuss the content of those reports.
Right.
I can tell you that whether they're in one parent's name or the other step parent's name, the allegations are consistently against the
Thank you,
step
Ash.
parent.
Thank you, my dear.
So you can have a DCS report that's filed that may be in the mom's name, but it may be regarding the environment that she is allowing her child to be in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Listen to that again. Listen to
And
that.
just to be clear for people in
That's very important what Tony said.
She is allowing that may be.
Listen
So
to
you
that.
can have a DCS report that's filed that may be in the mom's name, but it may be regarding the environment that she is allowing her child to be in. Does that make sense?
That's very important. That's very important because just because it may be in someone's name, it could be the environment. Oh, thank you, hindsight. Thank you, my dear. Love you, dear. It may be the environment that said mother is allowing her child to be in. Now, I've always said that whether Sebastian walked out on his own, which I do not believe he did, but let's say he did, or something, foul play. I do not believe Sebastian would be missing today if it wasn't for one person. One person. One person.
Yes.
Yes.
And just to be clear for people in chat, Tony said that the last report that Seth could not get because it's an ongoing report has not been closed.
That's
and
correct.
Okay.
I really believe.
When I was talking to Chris,
I really believe that the family health, if you will, the family dynamic, the family system, our family household, there's a health, right? Whether it's good times or bad times or in between times. Sometimes, and I think we saw this in the Summer Wells case, I believe the parents got the virus money, and I believe that made the family health system go down in the Summer Wells case because the parents are, they're addicts, and whenever you're active and you have money, that's where it goes. And I think you can, the addiction more takes over, and then the family health suffers. In this case, I believe that it was, Chris had kind of already outlasted his usual marriage, average. But more importantly, I think it was, Edgar was trying to get his daughter, and KK and Edgar were fighting, which brings stress in the house, and I think he wanted Sebastian out, and I think that brings on fighting, and that is why you see in December CPS, January CPS, and then allegedly February, because he went missing, another CPS. And literally 3 months in a row, you've got 3 reports. 3 reports.
Earlier, and him and I were messaging, and I asked him about DCS, and he said the only case that DCS has open is
Here he
because
goes.
Sebastian ran away.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry
that's
about that.
true. The Chris, Josh was going to
Yes,
call
ma'am.
me. I accidentally punched a 3 instead of a 2 or whatever. He jumped up here on
That's
panel.
fine.
And, he wanted to ask you something, actually. Sorry.
Fire away, man.
I wonder if there's not 6 reports, to be quite honest with you. In my opinion, I don't believe this 5th report was closed. Just my opinion. From the end of January, I don't believe Edgar was allowed around Sebastian during February, and that's why I think he will not. One of the reasons he will not mention why he was not in his home and in Hendersonville at the time. So I think that I don't think that was ever closed. And then you've got, when a child goes missing, law enforcement must report that to CPS or DHS. Now, that doesn't mean they open a report. Sometimes they do if they feel that it's necessary. Sometimes they don't, right? In Summer's case, again, I believe there was open CPS reports. Don said they closed the CPS report the day before she went missing. I don't believe that personally. I believe it was still open. But again, when Summer went missing, they opened a report. I think in Michael Vaughn's case, I don't think they ever opened a report. In Sebastian's case, opened a report. So there's that. Kat, thank you so much. In my opinion, the 3 a.m. is Dan taking little body away quickly, and the 17-hour trip is getting rid of him permanently. Hope Seth is not here right now. I don't think he's here right now, but I believe, and the 17-hour is actually, it's technically 24 hours, because Edgar, when he talks in one of the interviews speaking about that, he says 24 hours. And then the next one, he says we were down there about 17 hours. He's not counting the 3.5 hours down there and the 3.5 hours back, and that would equal 24.
Well, so
Something's
you
wrong
and
with
I
that.
had we had
agree.
messaged earlier on Facebook, and I had asked you about DCS, and you said that there were no other interactions with CPS or DCS,
except for Sebastian going missing, which I've been told you, but that's not mandatory necessarily unless CPS was already involved. So
Now,
you're
hold
not
on.
really being honest.
Wait a minute. You asked me, because I'll read the messages to everybody in God and Country. You asked me if there was an active CPS case on Sebastian. That's what you asked. And I told you, yes, there was, because the sheriff's department told us that they had to report it because he was missing. That's what you asked. Now, you also started to ask if there was another case, and there was no other case that I know of that's active. That's what.
Boy, this triggered him. This triggered him. It did trigger him.
You asked.
So there's that. Guys, I am going to come back in a little bit and finish my live. Thank you so much, Miss Poppy. Justin, do you know if LE has all the CPS reports? I think so. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure that they do. I'm pretty sure that they do. You have to see Remy. Yes. But the reason I'm ending this right now is because Josh from the lab is going live in just a few minutes. Say hi, Pearl. Say hi. Come on. Who's waking up? Say hi. Say hi. Could y'all drop the lab's link, please? Oh, she wants to go back to bed. Don't you, mommy? Ow. Say hi. Mommy. She's a monkey, but still, like, if she's getting ready to, like, she's gonna jump or something, I like grab her. She can watch her. She's literally hanging by her tail. You want on your blanket? You want on your blanket? She wanted to drop. You. Mimi. Okay. All right, guys. It is natural instincts. It really is. She literally hangs by her tail like a possum. They their tail, let me tell you, their tail is real, obviously it's really long, but at the last probably 6 inches of their tail, the skin is like a fingerprint. They have like a fingerprint at the end of it, and the texture is, it's like a finger, but it is made to grip. Like it is made to grip, and they literally hang upside down on their tails. And in the wild, yeah, you feel ridges, yeah. In the wild, they will hang upside down, and then like 3 or 4 will like grab a hold of the one hanging upside down. That's how strong their tail is. That is how strong it is. Easy it, mommy. Easy it, mommy. You want to say hi? Say hi. She's like, you woke me up. She played hard today. Didn't you, mommy? Played so hard. It's the weekend. We've had a long week, haven't we? Mm-hmm. Oh, ow. Okay. How are those contacts? Yeah, they're doing really good. All right, guys. Go over to thank you for that, Miss Poppy. Really do appreciate you very much. Oh, give me kisses. She's so lovely. She wants to be with me 24/7. All right, I'll see y'all over at Josh's. Blow kisses. Blow kisses. Valentine's Day dress. Yes. All right, guys. I'll see y'all over there. Much love. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.